May God help you understand that it is time to get yourself and your family out of the big cities, out of the big towns, out of the system of Babylon that is going to oppress your family more and more as the time advances. Have you ever felt that inner tug, that inner consciousness, that inner voice that's telling you this is not the place to raise children? God has a plan for your family. The noise, the rush, the confusion, that's not just stress you're experiencing. That's a signal coming from heaven trying to gain your attention. That discomfort you're feeling, that's God's mercy working in you in order to help you to realize that it's time to let go of the systems of man and the systems of this world and get involved with what he originally intended for man, getting man back on the land where he can produce his own food, where he can be far from the evil and the distractions of the big cities. The emotional burnout that you feel is just God working, trying to get your attention. When God wanted to start a major movement, he called Abraham, and he told Abraham to get up and leave the place where he had been born in Ur of the Chaldees to go to a promised land that he had not yet seen. Now you, at this point, may not know where you're going, and God is not calling you to make as drastic a step as did Abraham, but I assure you, he is calling you to pay attention to his plan and the urgency that he has for getting you out of these cities that are soon to be destroyed. I think we can be certain that God is not calling you, as he did Abraham, to just leave at this particular time, to just leave without knowing where you're going. At this particular time, there is a small window of opportunity where you can plan, appropriately prepare, and execute your transition from the city to the country. But the time is very near, and even now, when God is calling his people to step out of these wicked cities into a country place where they can better hear his instruction and understand what they are to do next. In Revelation 18 and verse 4, he says, "Come out of her, my people, that you be not partakers of her sins and receive not of her plagues." Now, Mystery Babylon involves much more than just big cities, but it is an ideology, and it is an ideology that moves the cities. It is the ideology that created the cities where men trust in men and not in God. And I can assure you what's coming on the cities cannot be resolved by men alone. What your family needs in this period of history is much more than any man can do. This is not about running away in fear. It's an issue of readiness, of preparedness. It's an issue of the heart. It's an issue of a real need that you can never fulfill living in a congested or an urban environment, even if it's a smaller town. Have you not realized the cost of living is accelerating, escalating day after day? It's becoming impossible even to purchase groceries for a large number of people. But what say you if you could walk out your back door and get your groceries out your back door? If 60, 70, 80%, even more of what you need to consume came directly from your country backyard. And then you have the media influence. You have the billboards, the lights, you have the sounds. Haven't you seen the child zombies that can't be detached from their digital apparatus? That can't be separated from their phones and tablets? Haven't you seen what it's doing to their behavior and their mind? Can't you perceive what the city lifestyle is doing to your own mental health? Who can preserve their mental health without reaching out to the creator of mankind? What mankind needs right now is much, much more than just a move to the country. What family in these big cities where everybody's running off to a different location, where our children barely have time to kiss us in the morning goodbye? What family actually has, as a family unit, divine connection with God, morning worship, evening worship, a family spiritual rhythm where father and mother, sister and brother have a connection with the Creator? A country, rural lifestyle can afford you that connection that you need. So how do you take the step without panic? You need a strategy, and this is specifically why I'm doing this. I feel your need, and I've prepared a 5-day family exodus micro challenge, because 5 days you're not going to learn everything you need, but you can start a fire. I encourage you to go to our Skool platform, our Skool community called Sustainable Faith, and take our 5-day family exodus micro challenge, where you'll receive instruction, some worksheets, and other things that you will need in checklists in order to take the steps that are necessary to execute your transition from the city to the country. So in the family exodus 5-day micro challenge, there are 4 basic steps. Prayer and purpose are the first step. Understanding specifically what you want to do and how you do it, and praying specifically in a specific fashion for God to accompany you in your effort. The second step is learning how to evaluate your skills and your resources, to know what you already have in your hand in order to accomplish the task that God is putting in your heart to achieve. Do you have some skills that are translatable from the city to the country? Can you take advantage of your city skill set while being in the country? And for how long will you be able to do that? Do you have assets? Do you have things that you can exchange for property in a rural place? Or do you have some type of intellectual asset that can sustain you while you're there? These are things that we'll be discussing in the course. The third step is starting a country plan folder, where you're going to learn to budget and evaluate land. How much land do you need? What type of land is appropriate for you? What type of land will meet your skill sets? What type of land will meet your budget? And to develop a timeline. These are 3 major steps. But maybe the greatest of these is learning where to find your tribe. Learning where to find community. What type of community can support you and help you as you seek a self-sustaining lifestyle in a rural environment. I began living in the country in the year 2000, and I began by joining a community that enabled me to finish educating my children, who were 3 and 8 at the time. I don't regret one step. And I lived in that community for about 4 years before joining another community outside of the United States, which was my first taste of off-grid living. And I've been off-grid ever since. So, in the year 2005 to the year 2025, how many years has that been? Without city employment, without city conveniences, I have never wanted for anything. I haven't always got my every heart's desire, but I've never lacked the essentials or many things to bless and enrich my life. As I work for God, God works for me. You need community if you're going to move out into the country. Your resources, if you have accessible resources and you're able to buy land, everything that you are able to do on your own, trusting to yourself, eventually will come to naught if you don't have people, if you don't have tribe. So again, I'm going to welcome you, urge you, go with that feeling, that urgency that is already in your mind, and take our 5-day family exodus micro challenge course. Go to the Skool platform, look for our community Sustainable Faith, and take the 5-day. This is our first course. We've just started our Skool platform community, and we are looking to help as many people as we can with this first course, and the course is free. So we'll see you there.